Morning, Scott.
Konnichiwa, Yulin-san.
We're back in the South Pacific again. PTO, Japanese versus Americans. We're playing Stovepipe Funeral. Do you know what stovepipe
Banzai
means?
style.
Yeah, banzai. Do you know what stovepipe means? I had to look it up.
You told me. Sorry, no. It's a
Oh, okay.
slang for bazooka.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the reference to the scenario name, Stovepipe Funeral, so I looked it up, and with a little digging, I found out that I guess the Marines, probably in the South Pacific, called bazookas stovepipes. So now I get the reference. So we're on the island of Saipan, which is just north of Guam. I'm playing the Japanese. You are playing the Americans. I can't remember if you're Marines or just regular. I think you're Marines in this one.
I think I'm Army.
Aren't regular Army? Yeah. I should have looked at the scenario
Army.
thing when it popped up. We played this several weeks ago, so.
It was a while back.
Yeah, we've been dug into the Decision at Elst campaign game. No, it looks like you have Marines. You got down on the bottom of the board there. It looks like a Marine. So I'm bringing in my 2 tin can Japanese with the turrets reversed. I figured I'd use their rear-mounted machine gun instead of their main armament. I think they had like 37 millimeter. So I just went with the machine gun route. I don't know if it worked out well, but that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean you're coming up the middle there, kind of a general approach. It's all hidden pretty much for me. So.
Yeah, I had to come up over the hill. Coming south around the hill obviously would have not been the right choice with the infantry, so I came up over the hill so you wouldn't see me until I kind of crested over the hill.
And yeah, I wasn't real sure what to do with my guys. I didn't have that many to set up, so it was a little bit of a head scratcher, but I think it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm set up my mortar. I think it's in that hex U7, I think, trying to soften up the guys in the jungle down there. And then I'm bringing a bunch of guys up on the top through the jungle as well.
Yeah, for a little tiny mortar, it pretty effective at times.
Yeah, got to take advantage of that air burst, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think those were those little knee mortars.
Yeah.
That the Japanese have. So here I'm getting to the point where I have to run kind of through the open at some point, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here, and I make the wrong choice. This is the first time I've played the Japanese ever, so
yeah.
I learned a few things about banzai charges here, which I'm going to do in a little bit. We're on turn 2 already.
Well, it's funny because I played this solo last year sometime, and you ended up doing almost exactly what I did when I played it solo.
Including the banzai charge?
Yeah.
You did the same thing? Did it work out the same in your solo?
Pretty much, yeah, it was the same.
Yeah.
Same
So anyone who watches this, don't do what we did here in a minute. But I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get across all that open ground. I mean, I could have, advanced out or just spread out, and I should have started spreading out before I do the banzai charge, at least. Maybe I did. Maybe in the advanced phase, I tried to spread out.
Yeah, I think because right here I take my 9-2 on concealment, and I shoot up there, and I pop your concealment.
Yeah. You wounded me.
Yeah, I'm wounded.
Yulin-san is wounded. Took one in the leg.
Yeah, broke somebody too.
Yeah. Yeah, route back to the building. My AFVs, they had 47 millimeters. I must have turned the turrets around and tried to actually shoot at you at that point.
Yeah, you're setting up here for a push.
And I kept my my tanks back because they're kind of critical for the victory conditions. I think they counted for, I don't know, maybe 40% of the victory points if you can drive them into that red circle there at the end and survive.
Yeah.
So I kind of had them hanging back because if you got a bazooka shot on them, they were toast if you hit. So here I think I'm setting up for my banzai. I advanced out, kind of spread out a little bit. And a little historical note, I looked up some of the actions on Saipan. Saipan had had the largest banzai charge of the war during the taking of the island.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before. Yeah.
I think it lasted like a day, and there were just waves and waves of Japanese army and civilians just trying to rush American emplacements. They had no choice but to gun them all down. It was like thousands of casualties, I guess.
Yeah, similar to what happens here in a minute, but yeah, you ended up breaking my stack. I can't remember if it was with I think with the mortar maybe. In
Probably.
08 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was at that point I'm like, okay, it's probably a good time to try the banzai. And I think the target was either the 8-0 hex or the half squad. It was probably the 8-0 that just broke. Something just broke in L4, whatever. No, L7, 6, 7. I can't see that.
M6.
L7.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
yeah, I think that was the leader that routed. Yeah, here comes the banzai.
Here comes the banzai right into the teeth of a 9-2 with, I don't know, 1 or 2 mediums. I can't remember what you had.
I think this, in hindsight, of course, this could have been maybe a little more effective if you had moved the other group, the northern group, first.
Drawn some fire, maybe?
Drawn some fire, because as it turned out, you broke a lot of my guys on the southern end of the board, but yeah, I had all the other guys to fire
Yeah.
with. If you'd drawn more fire from them, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good point. I didn't even think of it at the time when we discussed it after we were done playing, but yeah, that would have been better. See if I could draw some fire and then banzai across. But yeah, you're just lighting me up. You got some really good rolls too when you did it.
Yeah, there's a 3. Had a pretty good. I think there was a KIA at one point that just smoked. Oh, that was with your leader, I think.
Yeah, but I did get a little bit into close combat, but that didn't go well either, I think. If I recall, everything got wiped out at the end here.
Yeah, I think I ended up winning both close combats.
Yeah, so now I'm bringing my other guys around. Not a lot of fire on them. Yeah, I should reverse the movement.
Yeah, and the other thing I thought of when I was watching this the other day was your tanks. You could have brought if you would have took your tanks around the north side of the board, in and around behind the village, maybe, to cut off my reinforcements.
Yeah, I thought about that, but and I was counting to see if I could get back there before your reinforcements came on. Probably turn 4, I think, is when they were, and I couldn't make it. To get around, to get up and around, I couldn't really make it, so it was too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you took out one squad there. There's still the bonds. I can't remember. Were we in melee or something, or no? Maybe you fired. We weren't in. I can't remember. I lost something.
Wasn't it? Yeah, we're not in close combat yet. I think I killed the ones with advancing.
Yeah.
Defensive. It's been defensive fire. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a close combat counter on there, but we're not technically in close combat yet, I don't think. Or now we are. Yeah, no. You just took me out. Yeah, I lost that whole banzai at the end there. That was at that point I was like, oh man, I have a chance if I can get sneak my tanks in there at the end, and that's about it. With some squads at the top. I didn't have a lot of chance of winning after losing all those guys.
Yeah, I think there's one point coming up here where your tanks move like into the village, but we were just like, you were counting to see if it was possible to even win the game at that point. But yeah, here comes my reinforcements.
Yeah, I think it's next turn. I think it ended on turn 5.5 or something. 5. I threw in the towel. I think
Yeah.
up at the top you softened me up, and I think you had 2 bazookas in the village, and you got the last turn. So I would have had to drive my 2 tanks in and have them survive you firing bazookas and close combating, whatever, trying to take them out.
Well, at this point, I was still a little nervous about your guys up north in the kunai. But when I was able to bring my reinforcements like almost all the way up in one turn, I felt better.
Yeah. Yeah, if I replayed this again, I would bring my tanks around the north somehow. Well, it depends on if the setup was the same as this, I'd bring them around the north, try to cut those guys off, your reinforcements off.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you got your. I think I was able to take a shot at them as they ran in. I can't remember. I think I had a.
Yeah, it was a long range shot.
Yeah, I didn't get anything. But once you got them into that wood building there in I-5, J5, it was looking grim for me.
Yeah, because I just keep taking shots at you, and kind of just start reducing those guys.
Oh, you just got a KIA on my mortar crew. Took him out,
yeah.
so the mortar's out of it. Yeah, you move him 1 bazooka up. Oh, I think you take a shot here. Coming up with that bazooka in 09. I think you got a critical hit or something, but it just clips the jungle. Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Right here.
Yeah.
Rolled snake eyes on 2 hit, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh,
Just
crap.
clips the jungle.
Yeah.
Blew the shit out of some trees or something. Oh, here's where I'm doing some, I guess, calculations in my head if I can get what I can get in and how many points I can get in. And I think it's about here I threw in the towel.
Yeah, this was it.
And my medium up. Man, I've had the worst luck with support weapons past few games. I mean, just horrible luck. My medium machine gun is busted on the hill there. I must still be thinking about something with AFVs, what I can do.
Yeah, I think we talked about it for a while.
But yeah, game over right there. I threw in the towel. You broke some guys up on the north. I didn't have much left up there. No real way to get into the top of the village, and then I have to drive my tanks through a gauntlet to get him in there and then survive. And I just didn't think it was possible to get enough points, so I conceded.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good.
No. Not after that banzai charge. That was a disaster.
Yeah, bonsais work good, but it's got to be the right circumstance. Yeah, just charging across the open with taking a lot of fire. It's not good.
Yeah, but there's so much other than the top. There's a lot of open ground off the front point of that hill to get across if you are bringing units over the hill like that. So I guess.
Yeah, in hindsight, looking at this, I think the Japanese kind of brought their whole force in along the north side. And because you do have all that cover, you got the palm trees and the kunai. And if you could sweep your tanks around behind the village, cut off the reinforcements, and then banzai through that kunai with like almost the whole force. I don't know. Might work.
Yeah, banzai through kunai is. I mean, I guess you've got eight movement factors. Banzai through kunai is kind of slow, but if you set it up right, you could get there. You could get into the buildings. Probably. Probably worked
Yeah, I mean,
better than my plan.
if you got to right where you are now, I mean, you've got lots of cover, and then bonsai from there. But it was a fun scenario. I liked it.
Yeah, so my bonsai learning is, I guess, two or threefold. One, I think I needed to spread out more, even if, no matter where I'm attempting a bonsai, because you were able to, as I was running across, you were able to lay down various residual fires that would just lead more units into it, because I had them kind of spread out, not in one behind the other as opposed to side by side. So when you do that and you leave a residual and you have to go to the target hex, you just have the next guys running into, 4-2s or whatever, which doesn't work out well.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of learned the same thing as a defender against a bonsai charge. Residual fire is your friend.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. And the other thing I learned is, like you just mentioned, I guess save your bonsai for the last, if you can, for the last part of your movement, so you can draw fire to other things that may be moving before you do your bonsai, which I totally did not do. I just ran my bonsai charge out first thing.
Yeah, well, that kind of, I mean, that goes just for ASL in general. I mean, when you're trying to move, trying to capture a certain location, if you can draw fire, it's like, here, I'll run these guys out here in the open. Maybe they'll draw fire. I don't really care what happens to them, and burn up the other guys' fire opportunities.
Yeah. What about you? Did you learn anything? Any learnings?
Just like the residual fire versus bonsai. Yeah, you don't want to try and get out as much as you can, spread it out, make him run through all that residual.
Yeah. If there would have been a way for me to soften up Captain Yulin or whatever rank or Captain Roland, whatever rank he is there, before my bonsai, I might have had a little more success, but running them out into that fire.
I remember you were trying. I think you were, your armor was shooting at them.
Yeah.
You were trying to break them, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Couldn't get anything.
Yeah.
And then you get in a situation where you're starting to get late into the game and you're doing the math in your head and you're like, crap, I need to move now, right? I mean, I didn't need to bonsai then, but you always get into that situation where you're kind of forced to do something. Like the guys in the north, at this point in the game, I basically had the bonsai to get in there, and they would have all been cut down. That's another reason why I threw in the towel. It was just too late to get in there. So yeah, it was a good scenario. I enjoyed it. Playing the Japanese for the first time, I learned quite a bit. So hopefully next time we play, or next time I play the Japanese, which won't be the next one, but when we're in full ASL, hopefully I can use those learnings.
Yeah.
So what was the aftermath? Oh, the Marines held the line, breaking up the Japanese counterstrike. That sounds about right.
Yeah, worked out pretty historically.
It's about the way it worked out, I guess, in this case. So next scenario is American Devil, that was a crazy good scenario. I really enjoyed that one because it was back and forth the whole time until right at the end.
It was. It's swung back and forth, and the outcome. It was in the balance for I don't know how many dice rolls that the game could have ended, but it just kept going, and that was crazy. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. And that's that'll be our last
PTO.
normal. Yeah, that'll be the last PTO, and it's also our last regular starter kit scenario. And then after that one, we're doing Decision at Else, which we're playing through now, and then we'll be graduating on to full ASL, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep. So that's it for now. See you next time, and roll low. Or how do you say it in Japanese, Scott?
Uh,
Donut day.
Donut Day?
No,
Donut Day.
I can't remember how you pronounce it. It sounds like
Yeah.
donut day, but it's not. So I won't.
ドールテ
There it is. Let's do it
ドー
again.
ルテ
Roll low.
roll low.
Donut day. I don't know. Anyway, roll low. See you later.
See ya.